the last description of the creation in Genesis, at least in the original creation account, is that everything was very good. A lot of people have construed that to mean that it's perfect in every way. Is that the right way to look at that? I think it's not, but how would you look at that?
Personally, I don't look at the original creation as being what the Eastern religions would call nirvana.
Okay.
It is not nirvana.
That's the kind of perfection,
nothing bothers you.
Right.
You're just sort of walking along happy all the time. Whereas the word good that's used throughout, the word good has three meanings. The first meaning deals with what's right and what's wrong.
So that would be an ethical meaning. Okay.
An ethical meaning.
Or ethical or morality.
Yeah, like the knowledge of good and evil. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil. There is an ethical use of the Hebrew word, which is tov.
Right.
Okay. But
what's the second?
The second one is the aesthetic.
Aesthetic. Now, how things look?
How it looks, yeah. And in fact, if you run the phrase down, God saw that it was very good.
So he's looking at it.
He's looking at it, yeah. It's an aesthetic, it fits very well. It's an aesthetic appraisal. Okay, the virtually identical phrase is used in the story of David and Bathsheba. Bathsheba's down there taking a bath. David looks at her, and except they use the feminine form of the adjective, but he sees that she is tova me'od, which means she's very good. But that doesn't fit the ethical.
Yeah, so that's very much an aesthetic, how things look. Very pleasing to the eye type thing.
But actually immoral in this case.
Yeah, right. And so the third meaning would be?
Well, it's functional. For example, when the spies go into the land of Canaan in the book of Numbers, they see the land, and they don't say very good, they say the word tov, which means good, me'od, which means very, but then they repeat the word very. So the land is tov me'od me'od.
Very, very good.
Very good. It's like us repeating very.
Okay, so you got an ethical use of the word, an aesthetic use of the word, and a functional use of the word. It seems like that third usage, given that we are the command to Adam and Eve to rule over and subdue the earth, that seems that it's functional, it does what it's supposed to, but Adam and Eve have this capacity to work it and improve it, if you will.
And if you look at various parts of the creation day, they deal with something's function. When it's made good, but it tells what the thing's function is. And even with Adam and Eve, we're not picturing something that's absolutely perfect in the sense of nirvana.
Why would you need to subdue it if it were nirvana? Right,
and the word subdue is a very strong word in Hebrew. We actually use it in American. If you go to New York City, people will say, I'm going to put the kibosh on you.
Okay.
The kibosh is where you force something to obey you.
Okay.
And then the word rule is the strongest word in the Hebrew language for ruling. It is radah. And this is where you force the thing to obey you, which makes it appear like there are things in the creation that are...
It's certainly not a nirvana state.
Not a nirvana state, right. But the things in the creation are there, they're not in nirvana state, but man, before the fall, has the power not only to rule them, but to kibosh them. He kiboshes them and he rules them. And in that function, he acts as the image of God.
Right.
He removes chaos. If there's anything that's out of line, he has the power before the fall to bring it into line. And so it says something about the greatness of what we are before we fell.
So when we're looking at very good, clearly the creation is very good because it functions exactly the way God intended. It's just not this nirvana state where everything is perfect and hunky-dory.